Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 38 of my Factorio Space Age Guide. So in the last episode, we kind of started prepping our space science platform. There's a couple things that we're going to use, a couple things that we're not going to use after. I'm kind of glad that I didn't get all of that done last episode because I didn't even think about how much there was to explain. So in the last episode, we did that, and we also expanded the red circuits. We set up some solar panels and accumulators, which, nailed it. What else did we do? I forget everything we did, but anyways, moving along. So today we are setting up a space platform for space science. Before we do that, though, there are a couple of things that I kind of noticed. One, whenever I stamped down this red circuit build, there was a couple of issues. A few things that did not go as intended. So I'm going to correct those. We are going to have some outages, as you can see, but that's okay. That's expected, and we will be dealing with that soon enough. So that was one issue. There was another one here. Nope. Nope. Like that. The way the green circuits can continue on, and I think that might have been everything. I feel like maybe there was more. Maybe there was something else that I missed, but I do know. Oh. Whenever I stamped this section down, I did not connect this to the network, so it is just reading that there is nothing. So I'm going to green wire connect the power poles. That is definitely something that you have to do. And I didn't even think about it. There we go. So this was just wide open. And you know what? It's not exactly the worst thing because the petroleum gas is nice and high. The light oil is, probably where I think it should be. Okay, so I think that was oh yeah, and we also expanded the oil. I forgot about that. Chug along, guys, chug along. Okay, so we need to... there's something that I'm going to prep, but I'm not going to prep for it until after we do the space science. So at this point, I think that I'm going to start using blue logistics. So it's kind of bad timing because, yeah, we have a lot of it saved up, but it is quite iron intensive, and as you can see, our iron is being completely gobbled up by green circuits, which, again, perfectly fine. We're going to be chugging along here. You can see this is not full belts coming in. Again, that is to be expected. I think I mentioned, I don't even know, it was like maybe episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there, that I was going to tap this iron. That I was going to tap this iron, drag it this way, and merge it into this partially and into this partially. I'm not going to do that this episode, but there is maybe some prep work that I can do. I might drag Baby City Block up this way. I'm still undecided. I think I might actually end up running sulfuric acid up here through pipes instead of doing it with trains. Trains is another issue. I have no idea whenever we're gonna get to trains because there's so many things that I need to be... there's so many things that I want to show right now, and I only have one episode at a time, so unfortunately I can't show everything off at once. One last thing that I do want to kind of prep is I really still want to have some hazardous concrete, so I am going to stamp down... we don't need much. Let's just do that and that, and add some chests where you're gonna have... you know what? I really only want the one, so it doesn't even really matter. All I want is hazardous refined concrete. And we'll just let that go wide open. It's going to do that very fast because the craft time on this is 0.25 seconds. It can't even get it in fast enough. Look at that. It's crazy. Come on, bots. Give me these other two. I probably only needed one, but... Well, I mean, this one's not even going to be able to get it out fast enough, so it doesn't really... let's upgrade that to green. I think it's safe to say that I can get rid of the yellow belts at this point in time. And I probably should have just done one of these. Anyways. Yeah, that is going to fill up super fast. Right, bots, let's go. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait until we can get some faster bots. That will be awesome. Wow, still not enough. That's insane. But there you go. It's going to fill up pretty fast. I don't even think we'll be able to make concrete fast enough. Anyways, moving right along. So yes, I am going to... Oh, I got some hair in my mouse. What the... I blame the cats. It's the cat's fault. I'm going to stop using red logistics. So I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to drop this to 0. So now the bots will come and take this away from me. And I'm going to add in blue. And probably whatever I had before. Let's just do kind of a standard. What? The logistics bots are doing nothing? Like, why is there only... Are they all at me? I guess so, because of removing all the stuff in my trash. Okay, so... this will start to kind of fill back up. Like, we're... My goodness, people. You guys have to distribute that far out for your RoboPort charge? Oh, come on. Anyways, enough of that. We're 7 minutes into this. Okay, so space science. Yes. We need to fill out a little bit on the edges. I don't know exactly how far we need to go, but you know what? Let's just go. Because we are going to need to bring... Oh, that's another thing that I was going to do. We're going to give this guy some speed modules, because we're going to need as many of these as fast as we can get. Back to the platform. Where was I? Yes, so we need to kind of fill up some of this space. Because we are going to be using a bunch of it. I think at some point we're going to run out. Oof, pretty close. Okay, so what do we need up here? Well, first off, we need white science. And we do not have white science. So the way that we unlock white science, and the easiest way to access all the stuff that you have is just to open up the hub and then use your pipette tool. So we just need to place that, and there we go. We have white science. So I kind of toyed with the idea of not making our standard like 1.5 per second, but I was like, you know what, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I kind of think that it's going to be fine. We're gonna do 1.5 per second. It is sustainable. It is yeah, it's gonna be fine. So this can make 0.25 per second. So to get 1.5 per second, we need 6 of these. And it needs ice, it needs iron plates, twice as many iron plates, and it needs carbon. So, I am going to line these up. I forget, I think I want to do something like this. That does not look right at all. Okay. So how do we get the ice? How do we get the iron plates? And how do we get the carbon? So these are the asteroid collectors. They can be filtered. This is metal chunks, carbon chunks, ice chunks, and promethium. We will not be dealing with this one for quite some time. And we are not going to be filtering these. So kind of like the standard way that people end up doing things nowadays is they tend to use... oh, wait a minute. Just making sure that I know where the center is. A lot of people will use like a system where, you know, they have certain rules on how things operate on these platforms, and they try to follow it, because if it is off even just a little bit, it really screws up the whole thing. I don't know how we will end up handling things in the future, but what I can say is I tend to kind of maybe agree with that approach a little bit. We are going to not really follow that at all this time around. So we need... I don't know if this is going to be enough room. I guess we're going to find out. So we need a couple of these, and we tend to either make them overlap a little bit or just touch. So you can see that the area that is highlighted, that like greenish area on the outside, that's kind of its collection range. So we're going to have that, and we are, I don't remember exactly, maybe something like this. And on the other side. So what's going to happen is all of these little chunks out here, the carbon, the darker ones like this, these are just visual, like that's just background. It's the bright ones that we're aiming for. So you can see that this is an ice one, this is a carbon one, this is a metallic one. So we need them to collect those and give them to us. So the way that I'm going to end up doing that is we are going to... I really feel like this has to be farther back. Oh, you know what? I think I did have these not quite on the edges, but something like this. Man, it is so cool whenever it gets created or crafted. So when you have these, when you have anything on the platform, it has to have some chain of a foundation leading back to the hub. Even if it's literally just exactly what I just did, like it can be literally like this, and this would still work. It would still allow this to function like this, as ridiculous as it might look. But you would not, for instance, be able to have just a piece floating out. So let me set this up in a way that matches that, because I think in my testing I had them do something like this. Okay, I'm not even worried about the placement for that yet. So I need a belt. It's going to come around, and these will give us chunks. So with the chunks, we are going to need to process them. You know what? One of these days I'll get this right. So the way we process them is with the crushers. So the crushers have 3 different options. They have crush metallic asteroid, crush carbonic asteroid, and crush oxide asteroid. Whatever, it's an ice asteroid. So we are going to set one of these up for carbonic and one of these up for oxide. And they are going to output their materials onto a belt. I actually don't think we need splitters, so that's not a big deal. These could have been placed on the same belt, but you know what, I kind of like the symmetry. So let's look at the recipe for these. So it brings in a carbon asteroid and outputs carbon and a chance, a 20% chance that it's gonna have a new carbon asteroid that needs to be, it's a byproduct. And if you've ever played some of the modded Factorio playthroughs, you know that when you have to deal with waste, like items like that, the byproduct items, it's kind of really a pain because a lot of times you just have to dump them. If you can use it, like repurpose it, then that's great, but it's really kind of a pain. So we're going to have them bringing in their asteroid chunks. So these are going to be putting this onto a belt. These will be bringing it in, and we're going to filter this. Actually, I don't need to do it like that. We're going to filter each one of these to only allow the chunk that it is responsible for to be placed back on the belt. And we want the output for this to be behind where the input is, because this can output onto this belt and then bring it right back in for more crushing. So this one, use filter that. And then these, to make sure that they don't put the chunks out onto the belts that we want, these need to be filtered as well. So this one is going to be carbon, and this one is going to be ice. Because this has a similar situation where it has the ice chunk, and it deposits out ice, and it deposits out the chunks. 20% chance as well. So these belts are going to come through the middle here, and this is why we're using blue belts, is because I need the blue belts to be able to pass under this. And again, I could have, like, you know, I could have had a situation like this. Actually, you know what? I might do this anyways. Well, I mean, well, okay, it doesn't matter. So if we had a situation like this, so these can go out onto the same belt, and we can input white science in from here. Yeah, sure, why not? So that is two inputs. Inputs coming from this direction. This one will output onto this direction, and then long-hand inserter will bring these out and bring these in. So that is not the only thing we need. So that covers the ice and that covers the carbon. We also need iron plates. So what are we going to do with the iron plates? So if we look at the metallic asteroid crushing, same situation. This brings in a metal asteroid, and it creates 20 iron ore and a 20% chance to output a metallic chunk. So we're going to have the same situation here. We're going to have an input and an output. The output will be filtered for the metallic chunks, and we are going to double up on this. Let me just copy these two, and we'll do them there. Is this how I wanted this to be set up? I don't think so. I think I wanted this in just a little bit. So I'm going to cut these and bring that in. Yes, okay. So once these output, the asteroid chunk goes back onto the belt. We need a smelter Where did the smelters go? Smelter to smelt our iron. So that is going to just direct feed into here. And then this will output onto a belt. Actually, it doesn't even matter. We'll just do it like this. And this belt will then come down and be the input for space science here. And I suppose now that I did have plans to do it a different way, and I suppose since we're doing it this way, I could tighten this a little bit, or even lengthen it. So if I brought this back just a touch, you know what? Let's just wait. Well, let's continue on with this and see how it goes. So this belt will end up wrapping back around. Yeah, because we've requested in, let's just not request in any more of these. I suppose the space platform could have stayed, but whatever. We don't need too much more than what we have. 47, that might even be all that we need. And then we have transportation belts coming in. Okay. So I want to match what this has. So I'm gonna H to flip that over. And I can also just copy these corners. I don't know if I'm ready to copy these corners, but we can just copy the corners, and we're gonna line up with this one here. And we're probably gonna, yeah, we need to tuck under the white science. And then do the same thing on this corner. I'm just Control Shift stamping that in. These will not create until we get more of the space platforms, which will be up here shortly. Still undecided if I want to tuck these in, because we can, like if this is going to be here, we can have another one of these be, I don't know, something like that. And this is kind of overkill, like the collection aspect, like, you know, largely unnecessary. These would have been this one here and this one here, even though they're not like, you know, there's this full section in the middle that would have been a gap. These chunks, they eventually like cross over. So it's very rare that one would come like straight in. Would it happen? Oh, sure it would, but anyways, we are not too worried about that. But what we should be worried about is power. So in space, solar power is pretty much king. I don't feel like I was supposed to have enough room for that. I think these should have been one lower. Because I wanted 2 spaces there. And 2 spaces there. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And now that I think about it, I had this here for a reason, so that I could squeeze 2 of these in here as well. Okay, we are looking good. And I'm not going to worry about moving these. Like it's fine the way it is. Okay, so we have stuff that's crafting. We don't have any of these coming in, probably just because they haven't collected any yet. I do not see any ice chunks on the belts. But we have made some white science, so that's good. At least we know it's working. Okay, so it's really kind of a pain, and they don't really show you this, but like this whole platform is like the electric grid. There's no power poles, there's nothing like that. It just has to be on the platform. So how do we know if we are producing enough power? Well, they don't really, there's no easy way to, like, they don't really tell you this, but if you click on the hub, there's an electric network icon up here, and that will show us how much we are consuming versus how much we are producing. We can look at the last 10 minutes and go, okay, well, looks like we probably have enough coverage. Like I said earlier, the solar power is 3 times stronger in orbit. And we just have some extra room that we can... Actually, you know what? We don't even need that, and I'm just going to remove this section anyways. Oh, I can get rid of that one. Nice. It's really not necessary to remove these little sections. Yeah, completely unnecessary. Oh, I need... needed some inserters there. Alright, so that should be... Everyone has an inserter. Everyone is fine. Everything seems to be working as intended. We have collected some space science. So the longer this goes on, the more saturated these belts will become. And that is both a good thing and a bad thing. So right now, only one of these is producing, but that's only because we haven't had enough ice chunks come through. The more that ice chunks don't come through, the more the other ones build up. So we are going to have a way to potentially remove too much excess. And that is generally kind of determined based on your preferences. So I have these little cubbies here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to face them in the wrong direction on purpose because I'm going to connect these directly to the belt. And I'm going to click on the belt section, and we can make this read belt contents, and we're going to hold all belts. So whenever I do, you'll see that the belt kind of lights up. This is an indicator that it is reading the entirety of this belt. Everything with this yellow border, it is reading. So we're going to do the same for the other. Hold all belts. And we're going to click on the inserter, and this is connected to that network of the belts now. And we're going to enable if metallic asteroid chunk is greater than, we're going to do 125. And then we're going to flip it. So if you can see that there's 36 on this belt, 37. If that goes over 125, it's going to start chucking stuff off. So what do we want it to chuck off? Well, we're going to use the filter, and we're going to make sure that it's the metallic asteroid. We're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to enable it, well, yeah, enable if the carbon one is greater than, we're going to do 75. We need more of, well, generally you need more of the metal one than the others, but maybe in this case they could have all been even. Like maybe we could have done 100 for each of them, because it does actually produce a ton of iron ore compared to, yeah, you know what, let's just do it. We're going to drop this down to 100, and this one is also going to be 100. And he's going to filter for the carbon. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Connect these to the belts. Read belt contents, hold all belts for both. This one is also going to be iron. Iron tends to pile up the fastest, so we want to get rid of that faster than the others. Enable if iron chunks or iron asteroids are greater than 100. And now he can go in that direction. And this one is going to be the ice. Enable if the ice chunk is greater than 100. And this needs to be filtered for ice. And that one is filtered for the metallic one. Okay, we just need to double check that this is greater than, it's 100. Same with this, greater than, it is filtered, it's filtered, greater than 100. Okay, so now that will just chug along. As you can see, now we have ice piling up. Why are you not? Oh. Aha. Okay, it would be nice if we gave all these recipes. So now this is going to start producing the iron plates that are needed. And these produce way more iron plates than is necessary, so we honestly probably could have done it with one of these if we, like, I don't know, did an underground belt leading over to the side, had this recessed back a little bit. One of these would have been plenty enough to supply the entire 6, because you can see that it produces 0.62 per second, and these only consume 0.1 per second. So one of those would have been plenty fine to fill 6 of these. However, once we upgrade the assemblers, which we are going to do very soon, we could honestly probably even do it now. I'm going to Alt U, because this is one of the last things that we're making before we start upgrading assemblers. That will request in 6 of these, and then these will get upgraded. Okay, so that is our space platform. I think that I have everything in order. Power should be, yep, power is good. It will spike up and down. The biggest power consuming thing that we have at the moment are these crushers. These crushers, 558 kilowatts when they're in use. This one is 186 kilowatts. This is 72 kilowatts. The assemblers are 155, so yeah, the crushers, they use a lot of power. Even the inserters, it's basically 60 kilowatts per. Whew. Okay, one last thing before we go back down to the planet. So we have this white science, and we need to be able to get it down to the planet. There's 2 different ways to handle doing that. You can either put it in the orbital drops. So I'm going to send a lot of this stuff back down because we no longer need it. There, now these are producing, instead of 0.25 per second, they are producing 0.41 per second, and using more iron plates than these would have been able to produce. So we can send that back down. Anything else we can just send back down. Don't need anything else up here. So we are not going to manually drop these. And when we send things down like that, that is completely free. There's no cost to sending things back down, which is fantastic, because it would have been really terrible if you had to, like, you know, somehow like send up rocket fuel or some, you know, turn the carbon chunks into some kind of usable fuel to have the orbital things go back down. Does it make sense? No, not really. Is it beneficial for us? Yes, it is. It's completely free to send something down to a planet, and keep that in mind, because that is a pretty notable thing to try to remember, is that anything that happens in space that is sent down to another planet is basically completely free. There is a kind of time limit, though. So had we used the cargo bays, each of the cargo bays allows its own orbital drop ship to leave. But when we're placing things into and taking things out of the hub, the cargo bay is not something that works with for some reason. It doesn't make any sense to me. Especially towards end game with like really mega basing, that becomes a huge issue. Not something that we're gonna overly get into, but yeah. So just keep that in mind. Sending things down is free. So we've dropped all the other stuff because we just want this to be white science. So back on the planet, where does all that stuff go? Well, it all shows up here in our cargo landing pad. Obviously, we don't want a lot of this stuff, so I'm just going to take all of it because I'm going to get the bots to remove most of this. And I also kind of think that I'm going to move this away. And I have no idea where it just went in my inventory. There. And I think I'm going to have it up here. Something like this. Because the closer that it is to the hub or the shopping mall, the better. And it also needs to be closer to our research facility. So once we... There's a couple of different ways that we can request things in. We're going to just do the easy one for now. The easy version is inside of the cargo landing pad. We're going to actually just request in space science packs. We're not going to only request in 200. We're going to request probably 2,000. They stack to 200, so it'll fill one row of this. And to kind of show you what I meant with the cargo bays attaching, this is how the cargo bays attach, and it just increases the inventory here. And that is something that you can just keep increasing. Yeah, pretty wild. Each of these has an inventory capacity of, what did that say, 20? We're just going to do the 2 for now. And there's our white science. There are other things that we're going to be requesting in as well, so we need to be kind of careful on what it is that we're actually bringing in. And as you can see, there is... This will not bring out the white science. But if we move this over to here, now it's bringing out the white science. So for some reason, they decided that it can't work with the cargo bays. It can only work with the cargo landing pad and the space platform hub. It is what it is, and yeah, we just kind of have to deal with it. Oh wait, no. I only want this on one side of the belt anyways, so... you know what? 3 is probably fine. 3 is like just enough to get a little bit more than... Oh boy, and we do not have any inserters for these guys. Don't ban me. What fast built? What? I have no idea what was in the way. Whatever. It is what it is, and okay, let's queue up some science. Make sure that this is working out right. So we can only do things with white science. Ooh. Ooh. It's a big ooh. Covrex enrichment process. Another big ooh. Let's go with... Yeah, let's go with that. We're gonna do thrust. You know what? We'll just queue up a bunch. We definitely want more quality, speed, productivity, efficiency. Sure, because we will be setting up builds for those as well. Covarex enrichment. We definitely need to get nuclear power going before we leave the planet. Which actually, that's the important part. We can come back for that later. Okay. Everyone is queued up. Perfect. I was worried that force shifting that, force pacing, well, kind of force pasting that in was gonna mess something up with the belts, but nope, we are good. Okay, so our iron problems have started to work out a little bit. This was completely empty earlier, which means that something on the belt, something on in the mall probably has backed up. Oh, the green circuits have backed up a little bit. Okay, so that is going to be it for this episode. Oof. We are polluting a lot more now. Good thing we have those efficiency modules turned on. So before we leave the planet, I am going to wall off our base. I tend to prefer to be proactive, but it doesn't really make for good content, so I'm going to end up walling off probably a section over here. This is going to be the most painful part because I think I still want to push in a little bit, and this is going to make for a massive, massive wall. There's a small section down here, and there's kind of a small section over here. Some of these areas are going to be in our favor, and some will not. Largely this section. This section's going to suck, and anytime we have to potentially expand out, that is also going to suck. We have quite a few resources in here. We have an untapped iron down here. We've got stone. We have lots of stone, copper. There's a copper patch under our pollution over here. It's probably the iron that we're going to have a hard time with. And you know what? That's okay. This one is going to be tapped very soon. I think sometime around like whenever we start doing uranium. Ugh, I need to do uranium. We got to do trains. I guess we don't... Like, I've been putting trains off for a bit because I'm just not... I'm still not sure how I'm going to deal with this. Okay, anyways, moving along. In the next episode, we are... You know what? Let's start the uranium process. We need to get some nuclear stuff going. Yes, that is a great idea. And man, the faster we can get these crafting, the better. Thankfully, we have 10 of these already, so we can start the process of collecting the uranium 238, 238, 235, 235. There we go. We want the bright one. Yes. Okay, so next episode we're gonna start uranium processing. We're gonna tap this iron mine to help supply our bus. We're gonna drag that across here. We're gonna start mining this. Don't know what that's gonna ultimately look like, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do in the next episode. Sure. All right. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed my content, you know what to do. Join my Discord. We have some conversations going on in the Discord. I at least announce my videos, so if you are not sure when I release a new video or really want the Discord announcement, you can hop in there. And I have had some, well, not a lot. I think I've had like a single Discord exclusive video come out. I will be doing more in the future, hopefully. Yeah, we have some good conversations. Blueprints in the Discord as well. Yeah, so that's going to be it for me for this episode. I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.